Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Katrina Ness and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings and Katrina Ness.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings at the Reynolds & Reynolds headquarters in Dayton, Ohio.
It's a great honor to be here at Reynolds & Reynolds, and we're joined today by Chris Walsh, the president of Reynolds & Reynolds, and Dave Bates, who is the chief customer ambassador. Gentlemen, welcome to the roundtable, and thank you for having us at Reynolds & Reynolds.
Well, thanks for making this a great day for us. We're glad that you're able to come down.
We're excited to have you here.
Chris and Dave, I will tell you that Katrina and I and our team have been very impressed over the last 24 hours. We're going to meet with a lot of your people today, talk about a lot of the innovation you have coming, but really it's those people that have impressed us the most, the people of Reynolds, the people behind the scenes, and we've had a chance to see it close up. So a couple questions for you today. Chris, if I may come to you, Reynolds has been around for almost 160 years, nearly 100 of that focused on helping automotive dealerships. One of the tenets of that last century has been solving the problems that retailers face. Can you speak to some of that with us?
Yeah, so we are a company that's been around for a long time. That means we've seen a lot in the industry. We've seen a lot of the change that the industry has experienced, and we've learned from all of that, which I think has helped us to adapt to the current and emerging trends that we see out there in the market right now. So I think that experience has been great for us. To go back to your people comment, we've got a really good mix of people that have my level of experience, 38 years, and Dave's in the 40s. But we also have people that have been here a year or 2 years. So we've got that really good mix where people that look at the world much differently than I do and Dave does, and a lot of other people that have been around for a while, which really helps us, I think, just to keep moving forward in the right way.
I think one of the other things is we have a strong focus on development and continuing to innovate. We've got hundreds of developers and data scientists that in Dayton and in Texas that really help us focus on the problems dealers have and find ways to continue to improve on how we solve them.
Cool. Yeah, so Ted and I have been here today, and as well as yesterday, we got to explore your campus, walk around, meet a bunch of people. Like Ted said, the people are wonderful. But we've seen firsthand how innovation, customer service, and your dedication to building quality products for your dealers, it's deeply ingrained in the company. So what is your mission with that, and why are you so customer focused and ready to put yourself out there for everyone?
Yeah, well, I think you kind of hit on the key tenets of our organization as far as, what we are doing going forward. We had a customer, we have a customer in today, and I talked to every customer that comes in, provided I'm in town, and I kind of hit on those three things. What are we doing from an innovation perspective to help them, deal with, the rising consumer expectations and the challenges that the industry's facing? What do we do from a customer support? How is that evolving to handle the increased complexity that dealers find themselves in from a technology perspective? And how do we continue to build world-class products? So building those world-class products that kind of fit into the workflows that every dealer is kind of experiencing right now, and how those workflows are evolving. And then how do we be, from a customer service perspective, we certainly have world-class, internal support that helps our customers, but we really double down on field resources to help our customers, utilize our products and services better than they did before. So how can we be more high touch with our customers? How can we be more invested in helping our customers to be more successful?
Well, and to put that in perspective, Chris and I spent a lot of time traveling around the country, talking with customers. And one of the things we learned was that we did have people out there helping with utilization. And the dealers know that the more they can utilize our system, the more effective it's going to be for them, the more streamlined their operation is going to be, the more profit they're going to generate. And so we actually doubled down by investing in Reynolds performance managers. And those folks their job is to spend time in dealerships and saying, okay, I see how your processes work and I know what tools you have. Let us help marry that so that you're getting the most out of them and taking the most advantage of it. And that's been a huge hit over the last couple of years, is that doubling down investment and people on site helping.
And Chris and Dave, Part of our visit this week here at Reynolds is we've had a chance to look behind the curtain and see that there's a definite culture that you're building here and have built at Reynolds. And it's very forward thinking, and there's a clear career path for the people of Reynolds. And I don't know if we would have seen all of that without coming in. Maybe if you could speak a little bit about that and the importance of that.
Yeah, so I mean, one of our core values is that people are the essence of our company. We can have great products and we can be innovative, but if we don't have great people to deliver and build and support those products, it doesn't really matter. So, what can we do to provide a better environment so that we, acquire and retain the absolute best talent in the market today? As an example, we just came up with a policy where we offer free breakfast and lunch to all our associates. So that's a new policy that we just put into effect, and we think that helps, create that kind of a culture. But it's also a high performance culture. We believe in a meritocracy, and people are rewarded, for performing.
Yeah, I think the fact that we promote from within is something that's great. We don't go out and pick somebody and put them into a leadership role. We grow them from the ground up, and so I get a chance to talk to new associates, and one of the things I highlight is that the only thing seniority gets you is vacation time. Opportunities are earned. And the fact is that those folks see a career path, and I challenge them to go back and talk to their vice president and their directors and talk about where they started in the company, where they came from. And in 90% of the cases, they started in seats we started in. Chris and I both started in the support side of things and have grown to pretty good levels within the company, but we think it's giving them that opportunity to grow, develop, and challenging them to do that is really what makes a difference.
And you're really, if I can, you're really setting the standard because, the three of us may have been in the business about the same amount of time, but there was not always that focus on culture. And the same at the dealerships as well. We talk about them, growing their own people, their own technicians, if you will, in fixed operations. There's a lot of forward thinking here that we're seeing at Reynolds, and it's really amazing to watch it at work.
I think there's a lot of forward thinking in the industry, kind of to your point. I mean, there's a lot of dealers that I talk to that are very focused, on their people, that are really recognizing things like tenure, and how do we keep our people longer because they know that's a better business model, for them and for their consumers.
Yeah, the dealership that's here today, they actually talked about the family culture, and they recognize and celebrate tenure within the dealership. And I think I'm seeing more and more of that. And if you talk about the technician side, dealers are getting very creative on how they continue to bring that talent forward, whether it's through a technical school that they sponsor or some they have that their own technical schools. It's all those things to bring the right people in to take care of customers and keep those people inside their business. The dealership group here today, everybody in there that was talking about their leadership role talked about they started as a porter or as a parts counter person or a service director and have grown into a bigger, larger role. And that's right in line with what we try to do with our folks too, is get them in, let them learn the business, and continue to allow them to grow.
Yeah, I think in, fostering a culture where employees want to stay and there's not a lot of employee turnover and you have people that grow within because you provide such a good culture is what makes a company amazing. And when you have great employees that are happy, you put out good products and you have good customer service. So we definitely see that within Reynolds and what Ted and I have experienced on our visit.
Well, one of the things I get asked a lot, I get to talk to a lot of our new associates, and one of the questions I get asked is, 41 years, first off, they're like, they can't fathom it, right? But the second thing is they say, why did you stay so long? And what is there one or two things? And my answer is always the same. It's the people. We are a big family. We sometimes fight, we sometimes argue, but at the end of the day, we're a big family that cares about each other. And that's evident in how we treat people and how we work together.
And Chris, you're also very involved in helping to build a passionate pipeline of people coming into the industry. Great example at Northwood and your commitment to Northwood on behalf of the retail industry. Thank you for that. And the fact that you recognize all the young folks coming up who are career-minded at Northwood.
Yeah, I mean, I think we really doubled down on focusing on how can we make the automotive industry better? What are things that we can do, not just to sell things, but how can we all be invested in helping this entire industry move forward? And Northwood's a key part of that. I mean, you guys are a long standing institution in this industry. And there's a lot of great leaders in this industry that started their career in Northwood. Yeah. So, I mean, it's important to invest in those kinds of areas that we can all grow together.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to meet with a lot of the people at Reynolds here today. We're going to hear from a lot of industry experts, not just in fixed operations, but in variable, in the business office. Chris and Dave, if I can ask you, final question for our opening. Of all the challenges that dealerships face right now, what would you say are the biggest or some of the biggest ones that you think?
Well, right now, for sure, cybersecurity is the biggest. That's, really top of mind for everyone. What can we do to protect our environment? It's a priority for us and has been a priority for us for, almost 10 years now. We acquired Proton. I think you met or spoke with Brad Holton, the owner of Proton. We built a security operations center. What can we do to provide the safest infrastructure for our company and ultimately for our customers? So I think that's the first thing that's top of mind. And then the other one that I hear a lot of, they may use different ways to describe it, but it's how can I be more operationally efficient, as an organization and do more with the same amount of people, better serve my customers, have better processes for my consumers so that their experience is connected, whether it's digitally or in store, and they want to do business with us again.
I think the consumer experience and the efficiencies are two top of mind along with the cybersecurity. And if you do those things right, it falls to the bottom line and drives profitability. And we want our dealers to be successful. We get up every day and it's like, what are we doing to help dealers be more successful and help the industry be better? And I think we're on the right path.
Chris, Dave took us for a tour of the campus here in Dayton and showed us a lot of what's happening behind the scenes, but he wouldn't let us go behind the scenes on that cybersecurity.
Yeah.
He said that is totally secure.
Off limits.
You guys can't go in there.
It's off limits.
I can't go in there.
Well, we're going to hear a lot more about Proton, dealership IT, and cybersecurity coming up at our visit at Reynolds & Reynolds. A lot in store today. Gentlemen, thank you for having us. And Katrina, let's get the event started. So I'm looking forward to what we have ahead.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
My morning started like normal, catching up on emails. There was one that I could have sworn was from Lucy, our billing clerk, but apparently it wasn't.
The next day was same as always. There was no way of knowing that someone else was in our system. While we were working, they were searching for data. Passwords, bank information, point of sale systems. It was all behind the scenes. Turns out, they were searching for any valuable data and destroying all of our backups.
I think their goal was to inflict maximum damage. We had antivirus software installed on all of our systems. We thought we were protected. I think that false assurance made us an easy target.
I was the first to notice that my system was completely locked out. No one's computers were working. There was no DMS. We couldn't service cars, write ROs, close deals, anything. Everything came to a grinding halt.
5 different stores for 5 days, completely down, inoperable. It was absolute hell.
Hello and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness with TEDx, and we are at Reynolds & Reynolds, the headquarters in Dayton, Ohio.
We're joined today by Brad Holton, the Vice President of Proton Dealership IT and Cybersecurity. Brad, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you, Ted. I appreciate it. It's good to see you again.
And great to see you in person this time.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
So a lot of things have been happening in our industry this year. And as we talked a little bit earlier, you've been very busy this year. Where are we now as an industry in terms of cybersecurity?
where we now as an industry, the industry is still in infancy, I would say, as far as the dealership uptake. There's so many threats out there, and it's such a massive cat and mouse game that it's constantly evolving, and you've really got to just stay on top of things. Every day is a new attack, a new threat, a new type of attack. So we're still kind of, I'd say, behind the eight ball, always digging our way out.
In terms of dealerships who are watching us today, they're under threat of cyber attack. I know you saw a big uptick this past summer. If you want to talk to us about that.
Yeah, sure. So, we obviously had that incident that affected all the dealers, or a significant amount of the dealers, this summer. And shortly after that, we saw a massive uptick. I mean, a couple 100% in attacks specifically focused on dealership, impersonating different companies in the industry, trying to just piggyback on current events. And, we see that anytime there's some kind of, large event that goes on that catches the news, people always try to use that to their advantage. And so the hackers will come in and start impersonating all sorts of different groups and try to use that to their leverage.
Are dealers vulnerable today if they don't have the protection of an outside source such as Proton Dealership IT?
Well, it's very hard to not, have something that's really state-of-the-art like that and still be secure. If you try to do it yourself with, an individual that, might be your IT guy, and he does a great job of kind of handling the basic stuff, that's not cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is having the right tools, the right people, the right processes, monitoring 24/7, constant training to really stay on top of those threats that are changing and evolving every day. You've really got to go to a third party that does that. Unless you're a really large public, you just can't afford that in-house. It would be millions of dollars.
And I've heard a lot of dealerships and dealership managers say things like, Ted, we're compliant. But as you've said in the past, compliance is completely different from cybersecurity.
Oh, absolutely. I kind of think of it as a pyramid. So, at the bottom of the pyramid, you've got IT support. That's keeping all the basic stuff in the dealership working, network, computers, that stuff. On top of that, you put cyber. Cybersecurity is keeping the door shut. It's keeping all the hackers out. And then on top of that, if you've done everything right, compliance becomes really easy because all you do is just build all your reporting based on everything you've done.
And Katrina, here at Reynolds, Reynolds has invested heavily in this technology with this new cybersecurity center, and very impressive to see what they put together with Brad.
It is. And I don't think this is an issue that's going to go away. So talk to us a little bit about that and the importance of protecting, because like we've talked about, it's something that we see happening over and over again.
Sure. So as you mentioned, Ted, we spent a significant amount of money and a significant amount of energy over the last couple of years building out the Security Operations Center here in Dayton, Ohio. And we've got it staffed 24/7, a couple dozen people in there, and they are trained to really keep an eye on everything that goes on in the industry. And they're watching all the endpoints that we protect 24/7. So they're able to see things, detect it real time, and make a 15-minute experience instead of a 15-day experience. What I mean by that is, a hacker gets in, constantly we're under attack. If we can stop it at the very initial endpoint by monitoring it, seeing it when it happens, and being able to get right into it, it makes it an experience for one employee at the dealership who's, locked out of his computer for 10 to 15 minutes until everything's cleaned up. If you don't have that, you don't catch it, then it becomes a 15-day experience when the hacker gets in, waits a little while, launches a ransom on a Sunday night, and you're now down for 2 weeks putting it back together.
And Brad, this facility is very secure. Katrina and I yesterday tried to get in and take a look firsthand. They won't just let us in, okay? I don't think anybody can get in there.
That's good. That's the entire concept of security, both from within and from without. So it's a good thing to hear that.
Very impressive for a dealer or potential client of Reynolds to see that as well.
Yeah. So what if I were a dealer and I didn't have this system and something were to happen at say 3 a.m. when no one's moderating our systems at our stores? What would you guys do to benefit that?
We typically have an incident response team that works with non-Proton clients, and we get referred into dealerships that are going through that type of thing on a very regular, scary basis, actually. Because, they'll typically come in, like you said, Sunday morning, Monday morning. Everything has been hacked. It's all compromised. Nothing works. And so they're trying to figure out what to do. And we get that call. We put the incident response team in place, and it takes us anywhere from 12 hours to 24 hours to get a hold of it, and then another probably up to 2 weeks to really put everything back together again. So that's something you never want to experience as a dealer. I mean, we have, as an industry, seen what downtime looks like. It's not pretty.
A lot of my friends and colleagues in the industry have reached out to me, and they don't necessarily make a public statement when something like this happens to their organization, but they'll tell me in confidence, Ted, we've had an incident, okay? Yep. Or we had a ransomware incident, or something along lines where, funds got taken out, okay, sure, from their account as well. a lot of these things really come down to an outside source penetrating the dealership at its weakest level, perhaps even on an email, and setting all this in place. Speak to us about that, because it seems innocent, but really they're probing and poking and looking for these opportunities.
Yes, I always say it's the most well-known secret in the industry that people talk about at 20 groups. They talk about, different things like that, but nobody wants it to be public. How many dealers are compromised on a regular basis? So yeah, it starts with an innocent email. Someone clicks on a link, clicks on attachment, or they go to a website that's been compromised. They download something by accident. Once it gets on one PC, if you've got the right tools in place, you stop it right there. If you don't have the right tools in place, then it's going to stay there for a couple hours. It's going to start surfing around your network, and then it's eventually going to compromise every device on your network. And then, like I said, 2 a.m, it locks everything down, and now nothing works, and you're dead in the water for quite some time.
So the people who work within this cybersecurity here at Proton, at Reynolds and Reynolds, are looking for these types of attacks. They're looking for incidents that are in the news. They're looking for things probably on, again, I'm naive to this, but maybe even on the dark web and things like that. But they're aware, and they're looking to stop these things in their tracks.
Oh yeah, so we have the normal production team, which is constantly evaluating all the endpoints that we protect. But we also have what we call a sandbox environment, which is the guys, we go out and look for the stuff on the dark web. We try to find all the malware that's out there. And when we get it, we run it. We execute it on our own equipment. It's an isolated sandbox. So we can see how it works. We can see what it does. We can see what its intent is. And we can see how to stop it. We can run it against our tools. We also have almost every single tool in the industry we keep a copy of. And we run all the malware against it so we can see what works and what doesn't work to advise our dealers on the best processes forward.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's like you guys are fixing problems for dealers. If something were to happen, you're protecting it from happening, and you're even going beyond and researching it so it doesn't happen. So you guys got it down at every step of the process.
Yeah, and you've got to always stay on top, because like I said, even almost every day there's a new attack that comes out, or a new method of using existing Windows processes or even mobile devices against themselves.
The companies doing this, or the people doing this, they've got to be professionals on a big scale, okay? And they only have to get lucky one time out of, hundreds of thousands or millions, okay?
Absolutely.
To be able to penetrate. Speak to us about that, because a dealership on their own or a dealership group can't possibly be prepared to deal with somebody like that.
Oh, no. So in the last year especially, we've seen AI, which has a lot of things that dealers are looking to be helpful, also can be very malicious. So in 2 years ago, if you got an email campaign that a hacker would launch, it might be, he would write one email and send it to 100,000 individuals. Now AI will write 100,000 emails that all are slight permutations of variables of the same email, and it will send it out to 15 million individuals in the same day. So yes, to your point, it only takes a fraction of 1% to be successful for them to really make money on it, because there's no cost to them to operate. And as far as who they are, they're typically Eastern European, very well funded. They're making hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion a year in total through this industry. So yeah, they're not going away. They're very well funded, well compensated for their actions.
And ransomware seems to be, they seem to be looking for the ransom and succeeding in that, because they're finding dealerships or companies that were not as well prepared, and seeking them out.
There's a lot of money in this industry, and if you can shut down entire parts of the industry, then there's a lot of money there. I mean, we've seen that. And not only just ransomware, you also have email compromise, you have business compromise where they're taking funds out, getting wire transfers.
Yes.
So it's a nonstop battle on different bases.
What can a dealership do today to help prepare themselves and protect themselves? Because as Katrina said, this is not going away.
Just talk to anybody you can in the industry to make sure that you know what you have and what you don't have. I hear so many dealers say, I've got something that's got that covered. And then when we look at it, you don't have anything to have that covered. Your IT guy, nice guy, but just really out of his element when it comes to understanding cybersecurity. So get a third-party opinion, talk to your auditors for your CPAs. A lot of them have cyber teams that can give you advice. Third-party companies that can give you advice. Just make sure you've done the due diligence to really understand your position.
And what about Proton, Reynolds and Reynolds, the leader? You're not going to let people in here, okay, just to walk around randomly and see it. How do they go about taking the next step if they want to get on board with your platform here at Reynolds and Reynolds?
Sure. ProtonTex.com is our website. Reach out. If you're already a Reynolds customer, certainly reach out to your Reynolds reps. We'd love to talk to you. And we give tons of free advice. And if you're ever in a situation, regardless of who you are, that is compromised or you're scared about, just reach out to us and we'll walk you through and give you some great guidance.
Katrina, I think we're going to end up talking about this topic again and again, and have Brad back.
Sure.
To talk to us about the next level of what's happening.
Yeah, unfortunately, like we've talked about, it's not going away. So just protecting us and protecting our backs from it.
Everybody, we're here at Reynolds and Reynolds. We're here at the headquarters in Dayton, Ohio. Proton Dealership IT and Cybersecurity has a major presence within Reynolds. Brad Holton is the vice president of Proton IT. Katrina and I will be right back.
Well, I think as the market's changed and customers expect different things, faster service, you have to change with the times.
Dealers are often valuing software as what can it do for me? What's the return on investment? Forever, dealerships have thought about it and they use this word DMS. What Reynolds has really evolved to is RMS, Retail Management System. What Reynolds has developed is a solution, not just a software.
They're always looking for something innovative, something new that they can incorporate. They're looking for different ways to improve the dealer experience and always striving to put the best product out there.
If you're trying to operate a business and you're trying to deal with 10 different people giving you the same kind of tools, then it's just a mess.
For us, one of the benefits of working with Reynolds and Reynolds is that it is built as a single system. It works together, and we know that it's just going to work.
So that when I need information, if I need it for sales or for service or for body or for parts, it's not a bolt-on where I have a specialty product. It's all there together. A vendor provides a product. Reynolds provides a solution. You need a solution or you'll always be searching for problems.
If Reynolds can do it, we want Reynolds to do it. And someone might be a little bit cheaper or they might have a little bit of a hook, but history's taught me, just deal with the people you can trust.
We're able to really build a vision, and we're really able to build a strategy around achieving that vision. When we look at trying to figure out where the future is going to take us, the one thing we know is that we're going to go there with Reynolds together.